So now let's move on to the second proposal, which is the sidewalk proposal. And as you can see, that this is a very small millage. It's 1/8 of a mill, and again, it's for 5 years, and it will bring in $563 million. But it is important to note that the two are in one pot, or in one bucket, if you will, and the total then would be the 2 plus the 0.125. So the monies are what we would say is commingled. They are not kept separately. And do you want to comment? So this, but I should lay out that this will make the city responsible for sidewalks as opposed to the citizens responsible. And apparently residents have spent $1.4 million annually on sidewalk trip hazard, and they've replaced 47,000 slabs. So it sounds like a lot of the sidewalk repair work has already been done. So there are a few issues, Karen, if you can just comment on fairness. I mean, is it fair now to bring in this millage for all those who have spent this $1.4 million for all these years?
Let me first, you said it was going to raise $563 million. It's $563,000.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
So
sorry.
about,
Thank you for
about
correcting
$500,000
me.
a year.
Yes.
I mean, I think from the fairness, you know, I mean, we paid to have ours replaced. The problem is you've gone through their fix now. You're
Right.
not going to have much need, unless it's just the deadbeats that didn't do it,
Right.
in the next 5 years.
Right.
So,
Right. So, and there's also the question of this going into one bucket. Do you want to comment on the fact that it's all in one bucket? The road and bridges and sidewalk is really, they're not guaranteed that it'll be used for, there's no guarantee it'll be used for sidewalks.
I mean, the problem I have is the way this is presented. It's presented to make people think that this is a dedicated sidewalk millage,
Right.
And that they won't have to, the city's going to take over this responsibility. I mean, first of all, we learned from the parks millage when a number of years ago we voted for more money for parks, and there were some promises made about the general fund park spending level,
Right.
so that the millage didn't turn into a backdoor increase to
Yes.
build a new city hall. And in fact, the very first budget, they didn't keep that promise. So if it's not in the ballot language, it's not legally enforceable.
Okay.
And there's nothing in the ballot language that says we're going to be off the hook for sidewalks. There's just a promise to say they're going to take us off the hook for 5 years of this millage, when in fact there shouldn't be any need to replace sidewalks, or very little need.
Right.
And in fact, I did some calculations based on numbers the city had provided. There were 07 numbers. It should be higher now. If you used every dime of the $563,000, you'd replace 2,400 slabs.
Right.
And the 47,000 slabs, there was an earlier presentation that said they'd replace 55,000 slabs. So
Right.
again,
And there is one other thing, and then we're going to move on,
Okay.
is that this millage, this money, can be used for the percent for art. So there can be this deduction taken from both, and that seems to be a
1%,
controversial
yeah.
issue. The sidewalk as well as the bridge and roads are available to it. So benefit or no benefit? Just quickly. Jen, what do you think?
Well, I think it's going to be eaten up by administrative costs. The city says that there are $150,000 of administrative cost, which is over a quarter of the millage, and they have been putting the sidewalk cost, the administrative cost, in a fund that now has more expenses than revenue. They're looking for a new home for those expenses.
Okay.
And if voters pass this millage, I think that it will just go to administrative costs.